Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we'll make version 2 of our puzzle UV printer jigs. So a little while ago we made custom puzzle jigs for a customer who has a very large UV printer. And when they use that jig, it works wonderfully and they'll keep using it in their production. But they thought of other ideas that make things even better at their end. And that's the nice thing we can offer as a company, because we could customize any aspect of a job. Now in this case here, this looks very similar to the jig you saw previously. But the difference is this is actually raised. Now how do you have a raised MDF puzzle jig with, just the center up and everything else down? Well, you can't really add material, so what you do is remove material. So if you look at it here, it's very minimal, but you can see there's a little bit of a ledge there. So basically what you'll see is the machine shaving all of this stuff off. Just goes down roughly a little bit more than a 16th. It's not very much. It's just enough for their application. And we don't touch this at all, so therefore this is raised and this is lowered. Something you may or may not be familiar with is something called nesting. And nesting is the act of trying to fit as many parts as you can within a given amount of material. In this case here, the automatic system that I have for nesting has told me that I needed 2 full sheets of 3/4 inch MDF to do this project. I looked at it and I saw a lot of empty space that I think could have been better utilized. So what I ended up doing is actually nesting it manually. Now it does take a little bit of time, but I've done such a tremendous amount of it over the years that I could actually look at it and I sort of have a feel as to what would actually fit. And when it comes to doing nesting for this project here, I actually saved myself half a sheet of material because I was able to nest it, really, really tightly. Now something with routers you gotta watch out for is because you have a router bit that's spinning and your limiting factor is the smallest diameter you're using to cut out the piece. In this case, it's 1/2 inch, and that's why when I did this project here, you have roughly 1/2 inch of space between all of them, because I needed that for the entire project to be able to cut them out properly without cutting into other pieces. Now, as I say, this is an evolution. It's always an evolution with customers. We do the first, project, and then after that they go, oh, if we did this, it'd actually make it better for our production, and we do this, and then slowly there's an evolution that happens. Another thing we came up with are numbers. So you can see here. So this is carved out with the router as well. So basically now we know which puzzle piece goes where and which jig that puzzle piece is worth. Because you got to think about it. If you got like 20 of these jigs, all different sizes puzzle pieces, if somebody just happens, you're moving or whatever, and you put them all in a big pile somewhere, how do you figure out which goes where again? So it's a whole mess. By having numbers on it, you know right away this is jig 2, and it's position number 5. So right away it's very easy to sort through your puzzle pieces and make the proper puzzle piece for the proper job. Also, the other nice thing is that, let's say for some reason this gets run over by the forklift. Not a problem. We can just make another piece, puzzle 2, part 5. So basically you have built-in redundancy that way. And everything we do is identical to everything else that we do. So we have absolute positioning with our machine. So that means that, 5 years down the line, I'm pretty sure they'll still have MDF. A couple pieces get broken or whatever, can happen. Just sort of manufacture a new one, ship it over, and they're right back into production. Something you'll notice me doing, especially with the router, I don't do this with the laser very much, or with the water jet or the plasma cutter, but with the router you can control the depth of your cut. And that's an important feature because it means you can make profiles and pockets and all that kind of stuff. And what you'll see is me with digital calipers, always going over the project and just double checking the thickness of it, double checking the depth, double checking a whole bunch of little specs. Because when I draw this out in the document that the router will use to actually do the work, I have all these very tight specs organized properly into it. And a good way to know if you have problems with the machine or not, way before you actually have the problems, is things start to slowly go out of spec. Now luckily for me, I don't have any problems with this machine. This is actually one of the last few videos I've done with this machine because I upgraded to another machine that I currently have in the shop. But checking specs is a great way to sort of get ahead of any issues before they happen. So when it comes to making custom jigs of basically any sort, I'm probably my own biggest customer because we do a lot of custom fabrication that I don't show on the website and blog. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I do that is NDA and it's for stuff that I can't really talk about or show any documentation of. And every time I do those jigs, I think of other ideas and other sort of concepts that we can apply to other customers. And then our other customers have other ideas, so it's sort of like a little evolution all the way around, where we all come up with different ideas and we apply them to the next project. And it's quite fun because it allows you basically to do anything. You know, our customers are not stuck doing one thing one way and that's it. We have absolute flexibility. You know, if they wanted this out of acetal, so Delrin, or they wanted a polycarbonate, they wanted it out of, you know, even aluminum, we could do it with the machine. Not a problem, we can do that just as easily. So if you're looking for custom jigs, contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.